Alright, so it's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler again. This is a Gears 5 marathon. We're doing a bunch of tests with consoles, televisions, monitors, ultra-wide monitors. So this is QLED. If you missed my previous two other videos, I already have recommended 800 nits of peak brightness for the OLED, for the HDR Paperwhite slider. I'm going to show you what I'm using on the HDR slider for the QLED. Keep in mind, the reason I suggested 800, and I know that Evil Boris has a different recommendation, that's fine, I'll look into his recommendations, but the reason I recommended 800 nits peak brightness instead of 1000, it's because the OLED, it's not capable of reaching 1000 or over 1000 nits of peak brightness, and I don't want to overblow my white digital levels. I want to keep my picture quality balanced and natural. I think that's what every calibrator is looking for. It's looking for a balanced, natural picture. Okay? So, for the OLED, that's what I recommended. It's 800. You guys can go check out that video. Now, for the QLED, let me show you what I recommend for the QLED. This is the very cool HDR tools. They're built into game for you to adjust. So I'm going to show you what I'm using for QLED. Also keep in mind that Q8FN, Q9FN, 2018 and 2019 are different. Okay, the 2019 version has a much higher peak brightness, while the 2018 version it's 500 nits lower than the newer version of Q8. All right, this is only 1500 nits. It's not 2000 nits. It's 1500. Don't listen to some individuals who say it's 2000 nits. No, the Q9 can reach 2000 nits. Q9 2018, it's 2000 nits. Okay, this is 1500 nits, and it's still pretty darn good. Okay, so without any further ado, let's go ahead to the HDR slider settings. They're going to be right here on the options, and we're going to click video and hit the HDR calibration. All right, now also keep in mind I'm using a camera here. So when you're using a camera, you might see things, the images will appear different to you via camera lens than in comparison to what I'm seeing in person. Okay, the whole purpose of this video is to show you what my settings are for the HDR slider. Okay, this has nothing to do with me trying to show you how something looks. Okay, all right, so HDR brightness, we're going to move it up to 1000 here because I already tried a 800 for OLED, and for me personally, 800 HDR brightness, it's what I recommend for the OLED, because the OLED, it's not the brightest TV. It doesn't reach 1000 nits. It doesn't go above 1000. So why would I do that? This television goes above 1000. It goes to 1500 nits. So here it's feasible to use HDR brightness to 1000. And that's what I'm doing here. Maybe I can bring my camera a little bit closer so you guys can see it. There it is, right there. 1000. Brightness, guys, let me adjust my low light so you can see what I'm talking about. Hold on. There. I adjusted my low light automatically. All right. So the brightness, you should keep it at 140. Why? Because remember the rules. The rules of calibrating is you want to avoid crushing your black digital levels. You want to avoid overblowing your paper white digital levels. Okay, if you overblow your white digital levels, then you won't be able to see the detail on the sky. If you move the brightness down really low, well, guess what? You're gonna lose the detail on the dark areas. They're gonna be crushed. You won't be able to see the shadows, so you're not really doing yourself any favors. Okay? So don't touch the brightness, leave it like this, and don't touch the contrast, leave it at 50. Why? Because you already have backlit and contrast from the television here. You already have it. Okay, guys? You already have it. It's right here. Hold on. It's at 50 and backlit at 50. You already have it. So there's no reason for you to touch that contrast inside the HDR slider, okay? So you want to leave contrast at 50 and brightness at 140. The only thing you should move is your HDR brightness. Keep it at 1000, all right? Because if you move that contrast, let's say, for example, I want to move my contrast. Look what I'm doing. And if I move my peak brightness, I'm not really doing any justice here. I'm simply crushing. I'm crushing and overblowing my white digital level detail. What do we mean by white digital level detail? Stuff like that. Like you want to be able to see the green vegetation. You want to be able to see these plants in its natural condition. You don't want the plants to look like as if they're like burning with fire or something. You want to be able to see every and each detail. That's the whole idea of a balanced picture quality. And I'm trying to do my best here to explain to you why I choose the HDR brightness. Majority of people out there, they'll just tell you their settings, but they'll never explain to you why they're using certain settings. I'm trying to explain to you and walk you through it as to why I do this, like this. You know, I try to give you the explanation as to why. I don't just tell you, okay, there it is, use it. I try to explain to you why I'm using these certain settings like this. And you will see here, it looks great. Now let me adjust my low light here. Let me just adjust my low light. There we go. That's better. You have to remember this is a very bright TV. Okay? And you see, now you get to see all the detail. The shadows, you get to see them clearly. They're not being crushed. Even in the distance down there, you get to see stuff. Even if he goes through a tunnel, you get to see it clearly. Okay? You see the detail. You even see the light shining onto his armor. And you see the pipe right here. You see the ceilings clearly. You see all the detail. And that's the idea, guys. That's what I've been trying to tell you all this time. But, you know, this is something that takes time for people to understand, you know. And if you're going to learn something, guys, you got to learn it. Either you learn it correctly or don't bother learning it at all if you're not going to learn it correctly. There is no different ways. There's either correct way or there is wrong way. Okay, now the difference between me and the calibrators is I like to use my own two eyes versus them using the equipment. That's just my preference because I already know what the rules are. I already know what to avoid. If you know what to avoid, if you know that you're supposed to avoid color bleed, oversaturation, overblowing your white digital levels, crushing your black digital levels, if you know what to avoid, then you know what to look for. And therefore, if you know what to look for, you can get a great balanced picture quality. But that only happens if you know what to look for. And I'm not blaming individuals who are using a professional calibrating equipment. It's a great tool to use, but I think it's way too expensive for everyday Joe, everyday Mary to use. Okay, it's too expensive, and it takes a long time for the computer to detect, to analyze. It's a long process when you already have your own two eyes. And if you already know what to look for, your eyes is your best detector, because your own two eyes know exactly what's going on with the panel, what's going on with the television, and you know exactly what you need to do and what you need to look for. That's if you have the knowledge, if you have the experience, and if you know what to look for. If you don't know what to look for, then of course your picture quality is going to look like shit. It's not going to look that great because you don't know what to look for. Okay? I hope this makes sense. I hope that this clarifies a little bit. All right? Some confusion that some individuals have out there when it comes to picture settings. You know, a lot of people ask me, how come you're not using a calibrating equipment? Well, there you have it. That's the reason why I'm not using a calibrating equipment, because I don't believe in it. Yes, it's a helpful tool. Having the calibrating equipment, sure, it can help you. But I don't need it. Why would I waste 3 hours, 4 hours waiting for the computer, for software to let me know, all right, we need to adjust this here, we need to adjust that there, move it 10% here, 2% there. Why would I need to do that when I already know? If you know what this television is made of, if you know what's inside this television, if you understand how this technology works, if you understand what the LCD liquid crystal displays are, if you understand what the quantum dots are and how they work, if you understand how the LED backlit versus organic light emitting diode works, if you know what type of TV you have and how your TV works, and if you have the knowledge on what to look for and what to avoid when you are calibrating, when you are adjusting your picture settings for certain content, then you don't need any tools. All your tools, all your knowledge, it's in your brain. You know exactly what to do. It's stored in your brain. Now, this is my opinion. I'm not saying that you shouldn't use calibrating equipment. If you are somebody who have no idea how this works, you have no idea how televisions work and how technology is behind the panel, what's inside the panel, and how does it all work, if you have no clue, then fine. By all means, go ahead and use that calibrating equipment or have a professional calibrator come to your house. But I'm simply saying, if you have the knowledge, if you know what to do, you don't need it. And that's why I don't need it. Not to mention the fact that it's expensive. The amount of money you're going to spend on calibrating equipment, it's the amount of money you could save to buy a new television. So it's just not worth it. And look at this HDR to 1000 with this peak brightness, just looks beautiful. Look, I want to say a couple of things. Guys, I have nothing against QLED. You see I have QLED. You know I have OLED. You know I have Sony 900E. You know I have TCL. You know I have projectors. I have nothing against any of these televisions. They're all good televisions for its own purpose. They all hold their own, okay? They all hold their own glass of water, okay? It's you who needs to decide what's important to you. Okay, what's important to you? Is the peak brightness on the HDR important? Yes. HDR, peak brightness, and color gamut are the two important components, right? And you're going to get that. You're going to get that with a QLED. You're going to get that with Vizio Quantum because they have a higher peak brightness, especially with a Dolby Vision. However, the one thing you don't get with LCD panels, you don't get a perfect contrast ratio. Let me repeat that one more time. you're not getting a perfect contrast ratio. With the OLED, you are getting the perfect contrast ratio. Why? Because there's no light emitting these LCD liquid crystal displays with quantum dots, photons. They're not emitting any light shining through them. So there's no light beaming through them to give you that, peak brightness and a nice color accuracy. On the OLED, you don't have any LCD. You don't have any LED behind it. You have tiny microscopic little diodes. They're organic light emitting diodes. They're very sensitive, very expensive. Okay, I'm not going to go into detail on how they're being made and their origin. Google it. Google is your friend. Everything that I learned, you can learn on the Google. You can study it yourself. You have all the tools on your disposal for you to learn. So, point I'm trying to make is, at the end of the day, I cannot tell you what's the best TV for you. I can only tell you the difference between these two different technologies that we have. At the end of the day, you have to decide. Same thing goes with the monitors. Should I go with the VA monitor, vertical alignment, or should I go with a twisted pneumatic? Should I go with the IPS in-plane switching monitor? Guys, I can only tell you the difference between each technology, which I have done in my 4,000 plus videos. Yes, that I have, that many, which you guys should definitely look for. There's so many of them out there. I cannot tell you what you should go with. You need to, for yourself, decide what's important to you. And I'm going to end that video like that. What is important to you? I don't know what's important to you because I'm not you. I don't know what's going on inside your mind. I don't know what your likes, dislikes are, what your preference is. You need to find out for yourself what is your preference. Okay? I hope this makes it clear. I couldn't be any more clear than just what I just said here. Having said that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And look, this game is beautiful. Gears 5 just looks phenomenal. Finally, the Xbox is getting, it's getting a true la creme de la creme exclusive game. Well, it's not 100% exclusive to the Xbox One X. You can still play it on a PC, on the Steam. So it's kind of like 90% exclusive. That other 10% goes to the PC, to the Steam. Okay? Or if you have a PC and you have a Game Pass Ultimate, then you can use Game for Windows, obviously. Well, there you have it, guys. I'll see you guys on my next videos pretty soon. I have more videos coming up. I just need you guys to bear with me. I got tons of more content coming in tomorrow, especially regarding the PC version and how does it look on the BenQ and how does it look on the CHG90 ultra wide screen 50-inch monitor with a FreeSync. How does it run? Stuff like that. Okay, there might be a live stream, but we'll see. All right, so stay tuned. Keep an eye on my community forums. Community forums on the YouTube is the best way for you to keep in touch with what I'm doing next. All right, guys. Well, have a good one, though. Take care and enjoy this game. I try my best not to spoil this game. I don't want to do that because I'm not a cash register streamer. I don't do that. I just want to get to the most important parts of the video and get straight to it and give you my recommendations. Other than that, have a good one, though. Enjoy your Friday evening. Cheers.